Are we though?
I think so.
No, it's like delayed. It's super delayed.
It's like we've been going live for half an hour talking trash.
We have been talking about blunts and the undersea.
Yes.
Look at it shaking.
Whoa.
Oh, that was me minutes ago doing the thing. Anyway,
Yeah. Doing the shake.
we were just wondering, when you press go live on YouTube,
when does it go live? Yeah.
So obviously we're talking a bit of trash, so welcome to the state of the beans.
Talk.
Yeah, got it.
Look at that. It's like businessman and Hawaiian guy. You're like on holiday and I'm always at work. That's what it looks like.
So it's your thing, right? All your videos, you've got the
I'm
look.
suited up. I got the look.
I got the look.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
Trying to bring a bit of style into gaming. Hello, Chris.
Hey, we tortured some folks. I remember that
name too, yes.
Hey, Control. Welcome,
And hello,
everybody.
Control.
We've got a fantastic show for you guys today. It's going to be some ups, some downs, some sideways, some comments. Round and round. Yeah. What do you call it? Roller coasters.
Yeah.
Emotional roller coasters. Sort of, up and down, very sad. We've got quite a lot of interesting announcements. And we're sponsored today by Expressvpn. More on that later. I will put some details in the links below if you'd like to check that out. I've actually been using Express for a while.
Oh, have you?
And then they finally reached out and said, Pat, do you wanna like work with us? I was like, hell yeah, why not? I don't get anything from it, but I don't get free VPN. I still have to pay for it.
Oh no,
which is unfortunate. But nonetheless,
okay.
We've got Stadia stuff that I really want to talk about. I don't think you've heard about this.
No, I haven't. I'm keen to hear.
It's a disaster, and it has to do
more of a disaster.
Yeah, it has to do with streamers, gamers, and gaming, and developers, and developers.
And developers. Oh my god.
We've got Nvidia cancelling things that were never announced.
Yes, I know. Cancelling the rumors.
Yeah. So you've got a lot of things to say about that, do you?
I do, yes. I've had a lot of thoughts about this.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Big NAVI is looking rather big, if I must say so much.
Yes.
Quite positive. And
yeah, absolutely.
And PlayStation 5 custom covers are coming.
Yeah, nothing too exciting, but hey, you can customize your PS5.
Woo-hoo. Well, you could get a black marker and customize whatever you want on it.
Just get some spray paint.
Yeah, actually, people do that a lot. Like they get that plasti spray or whatever it is, so you can put it on plastic.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And some DualSense news, I believe.
Yeah, unboxings.
Unboxing. I love your unboxing.
I will be unboxing. Oh yes.
That was great.
That was fun. That was just like Patrick's like, hey, the camera's running. I'm like, oh, okay, let's unbox this thing.
And are you going to do a PlayStation 5 unboxing?
I will be, indeed. Hopefully day one. If I get one day one, please, Harvey Norman, don't let me down.
Oh, dear Harvey Norman.
Yes.
Please.
Please don't let me down.
All right, let's get started. Let's roll the intro. Roll an intro. And welcome to everybody who's here. Hey, Joe Blogs. Hey,
hello.
Italian Mistiosis or Mystisosis?
Mystios. Yes, I did come straight from the Matrix. Yeah, that's how I got to Patrick's house. Just like got out of the machine.
And it's actually, we're really early because of the AFL. Because there's like an AFL event here in the house.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, at like 4:30. So we got an hour and a half, guys, before people start arriving and dogs become barking. So let's get into it. The first one is Stadia news. So Stadia is kind of dying.
Is it?
I think it's pretty much dead. I think there's not many people who use it, and I think the way it's designed, the way it's actually like commercialized or monetized,
right,
is bad.
Oh no.
So how much do you know about Stadia?
Well, I always thought it was going to be the Netflix of games. Then I realized that it's not. It's going to be a platform which you pay a subscription for to have the greatest new tech to be able to run the variety of games that are available on the platform that you have to purchase as well. There will be some games that you can get for free, small variety of games, but the rest you have to pay full price, which is unfortunate. So that's my understanding of it. I was under the impression that it's going to grow like well over time, but it also came before its time, unfortunately.
Do you think it came before its time? Because, you know, GeForce now has been around for many, many years. And Grid used to be around too.
Oh, really? Okay.
Which is kind of similar to Stadia.
Yeah. I was just thinking, well, if it's got the backing of Google, it has the potential to grow like it needs to because it has so much bank.
It's got a lot of bank behind it, but I don't think money is everything. So the way they're monetizing this stuff, and we'll talk about what this thing here is here, because it's really to do with Stadia, but it's to do with the people behind it. It just feels like they're not really believing in it anymore. So Stadia, it monetizes by having a platform and you buy the games onto it. So it's like having a subscription to your own personal gaming console, which is exactly what you said. And I think the idea behind that is pretty cool. Like, you subscribe to the hardware. Unfortunately, the way the rest of the world works is Netflix, right? We have this image in our heads that Netflix is like the way things are. So software as a service, so you pay a monthly fee and you get everything. You don't have to like add more to it. So Stadia, you have to buy your own games. Now the games are full price. And you can't just buy a game on cheap somewhere else and add it to your account on Stadia.
Correct. You're locked to their service.
Yeah.
There's no other way to use that platform.
Yeah, exactly. So Stadia has been declining month after month. Less and less people use it. They had a terrible launch. They launched with very little people. They launched with a very premium product. I think it was like $120 American for a controller and a subscription, and that's the only way you could get it at launch. And then there was this other stuff that, well, you couldn't even use it on any Android phone apart from a Google Pixel, and it sort of droned on and on and on, and things haven't been fixed. The lag is really bad. You've got products like GeForce Now, which in the US works really, really well. I got to try it a few years back when I was in Denver at a work office. I had gigabit. It was pretty cool. And then you've got things like a Grid, which I think is cancelled now, but there's a new replacement, which is you rent a desktop system, and it's all the games you want and can play. And that's all you pay for, and you can use your own Steam login, you can use your own Origin login. So that's really cool. And I think Linus did a video about that a little while back. But so Stadia is not doing well, and this just doesn't help. A person who works at Stadia, Alex Hutchinson, said this: streamers worried about getting their content pulled because they used music they didn't pay for should be more worried about the fact that they're streaming games they didn't pay for as well. It's all gone as soon as publishers decide to enforce it. The real truth is streamers should be paying the developers and publishers of the games they stream. They should be buying a license like any real business and paying for the content they use.
Yeah.
He is saying that streamers or game streamers should be paying the developers for the rights to actually play the games online or stream to the world, right? So if you're on Twitch and I'm playing Battlefield 5, I should be paying EA Games and DICE a fee for that because I'm playing that game and I'm making money off it if I'm a big streamer like Casper.
Oh, huge, colossal, monolithic. Yeah.
And so you're getting this situation where this guy who works for Stadia, whose marketing relies on people playing Stadia, and hopefully maybe streaming it to their people who might also play it, is saying stuff like this. Now, there's a couple of law things in this. So there's fair use.
Yeah.
There's obviously copyright stuff. And there's obviously a bunch of disconnects between games, movies, TV shows, and other copyright content like music.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, right? So before we get into unpack this, do you need rights to play music to an audience?
Correct. In an open forum outside of your household, to play music in like a shop or a cafe, restaurant, the mall, you need to pay the royalty fees to be able to play it to a whole bunch of people. Like, as opposed to the radio, which is fine because obviously there's advertisements and all of that paid to the radio station. So yes, you do.
Okay. And then let's take a step back. Video. I buy a DVD and I invite, I don't know, all my friends, so 2 people to the house.
Two people. You mean me and you? Yeah, right. Look, I think that gets a little bit grayer when it's like in your household, but like when I guess when you're inviting when you have an open forum, a public forum, and when you're playing that DVD in a public forum, that's when it can get a bit spicy because the policies in place will they can fine you for doing so. Once again, you need to pay the royalty fees to do that.
So in that case, if I were to get a really big projector and go to a farm and sell tickets to watch a movie that I've just purchased as a DVD, that would be an infringement on copyright.
Yeah.
That would be an infringement of the fact that the license I bought is just for that DVD to be played at home, which in my mind is actually kind of bullshit because, hey, I bought this DVD, I can do whatever I want with it, which includes copying it and backing it up on TV. That's a separate issue. And now we move into the digital world where a lot of the laws have not really caught up with what's happening, right? You've got a lot of old boomers who make these laws. So copyright laws isn't perfect, but it is what it is. But there's something called fair use. So when we move into the online world, if I'm streaming something online through a partner like Twitch or YouTube like this, we're not allowed to show content that is copyright because it's not ours unless it's transformative, unless we are giving a comment about it. So for example, when we did the stream on the PlayStation announcements and things like that, we didn't get done for the video. We got a strike for the audio because the audio is what actually isn't transformative because it's music. Like you're not transforming it, right? You're still listening to the track. Yeah. But because the video was okay, we were able to talk about it and say, hey, look at this cool thing. We could pause it and stuff like that. That's transformative and therefore it's covered and it's, copyright doesn't apply because we're not just playing it back. So then taking a step back to the streamer. A streamer has issues with music because music is just playing in the background and he's doing something different on video. And so, yes, audio copyright is a big thing and streamers are worried about it, as he says in his tweet.
Yep.
The problem is, as soon as you take the next step is video, right? Streamers do a lot of stupid stuff and I don't want to get into streamers doing streamy things.
Because it's endless.
It's endless. But, they have a little box like we do here with the video and they might put something on there. But there is these things where they sit there and just put a video and watch it. That's not transformative. That's copyright infringement.
Yeah. They may be like bobbing their head or something to it. It's like, whoa, no, that is infringement.
Absolutely.
They're not adding to it.
So we're not talking about that. But I'm playing a video game. A video game that requires you to do things in it. It's not a video.
Yeah, correct. It's like a media that you're engaged with, so therefore your actions are the kind of like your own touch to it, your own flavor to it. It's like your own copyright because this is my artistic expression within the medium. Yeah.
I would like to add, Joe, you're right about the reaction videos, but there is a very fine line. A lot of people get done for it. They actually do get copyright strikes and have to fight it. So Yeah. Oh, welcome, Jason. Thank you very much.
Yeah, hey, Jason.
So the big thing.
And hello, NAVI as well.
Oh, NAVI, yes.
Yeah,
cool. So the big thing with a video game, right? And this is the first thought I had when I read this. I was like, so what you're telling me is, if I were to stream the game and just let's say I load into it and just leave my character there, that's copyright infringement, technically speaking, because I'm not adding anything of mine. So if we just put it like The Witcher on and leave him standing there, that's pure copyright infringement because I'm not adding anything of mine. I'm not actually providing any differentiation of content from what they're showing.
Yeah, or can you flip the argument and say, hey, this is my thing. I'm leaving my character standing. It's like I'm the still man.
Yeah. So it's a huge sort of circle of stuff. But to make the game be a game and be enjoyed by people, a streamer has to play it, therefore engage and transform that content. So copyright doesn't apply to this. It doesn't apply to video games because it's fair use. It's transformative.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing against what he says. But let's take a step back.
Oh, okay.
Among Us has been around for how many years?
I don't know. I realized it existed when you told me last week.
Exactly. Do you know why? Because streamers started playing it. But it's been around for 2 years.
And now I have seen some of these big streamers play it. I'm like, oh, this is all of a sudden a big thing now.
Yeah. Also, Fall Guys, the biggest thing that happened was obviously streamers playing it. And therefore, all of a sudden, it's big, it's huge, and it's making money. So people that make video games, their ultimate like marketing ploy is to get a big streamer to play it.
Yes.
How do you think PUBG became so big? How do you think Fortnite became so big?
Fortnite became massive because of streamers.
It's only streamers. And then you get this guy who's completely out of touch. And just to note, he did track back further down in the chats with people because they completely bombarded the chat. And they said that, he goes, maybe they should have some sort of like split deal of, whatever income. But still bullcrap, nonetheless. But it just seems so out of touch to have somebody who designs and develops games to say, hey... Anyway, one thing he did, he retweeted a streamer playing Stadia, by the way. Just like a couple of tweets below this one.
Right, so the streamer can go to him and be like, hey,
well,
I should copyright strike you.
Yeah. So, there's that. I don't know, let me know what you guys think. Got a couple of comments. It just says, but doesn't game developer have copyright over all of the game? So... On that note, there are some old games like Need for Speeds that you can't stream anymore because the music itself, the game doesn't have the rights to anymore. So if you stream it and the music plays, you'll get a copyright strike because they only had it for like 10 years or something. Right. So that's one thing. So again, it's different. So the developer still owns the game. That ownership never changes and you can still play it because it's transformative, but the music isn't transformative. Therefore, it is copyrightable, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I have noticed that that's how YouTube operates as well. When I was streaming the game, the Batman Arkham Knight, videos that I would publish on YouTube, the issues were that there was a composition by a particular artist, like in the background. Then that would be, all of a sudden that's a copyright issue there. And Nier Automata was one like that as well. Only in certain portions of the game. So if I was in this particular open world setting, it would trigger this particular music, which was by a particular artist.
Yeah.
And then it would be, that little segment there, because you were in that zone of the game, that's a copyright issue. But everywhere else where I went, that was absolutely fine.
Interesting. So it was those little bits and that...
Just those little bits, depending on the licensing rights and how the artists approach it with... YouTube media and everything.
And YouTube doesn't do deals with like providers for this sort of stuff. It's too expensive for them. So the onus is on you and the creator.
Yeah.
Joe Blog says you choose the position he's standing in doing nothing. You choose the position.
Yeah, you know how we're talking about the game? If you leave it just standing, it's like, I chose this stance.
Yeah.
This is my
to
copyright.
do nothing. Yeah. And he says top streamers charge 10k an hour to play a game. Yes, so if you're big enough to actually charge, developers pay you to play the game.
Yeah, it's the other way around because now you're the celebrity, you're the hot thing that people want a piece of because now you have access to an audience.
And the thing is, like people, I'm like this too. I don't watch streamers, YouTubers. Sometimes I don't watch them for the content. I watch it for the personalities. A big part of the reason people watch these YouTubers and streamers is because of the personality. Because they go, I like this guy or this gal, and you know what? I want to see them play that game, or I want to see them talk about some product. Like, and then I guess for me, like, people. Like, if I review a product, I have to seem trustworthy and sort of, not seem, but be trustworthy.
Seem trustworthy, but really malicious.
Very malicious. So the idea is that, you watch these people because you trust them, and if they say to you, hey, here's this game, play it, you might actually buy it, and that's actually a good thing for the developer, right? Because it's that person telling you, not just them trying to sell it to you.
Yes, and I'm thinking of, if you're a streamer, you're always advertising their product. So... you're getting free advertisements. So in essence, it should be the other way around. You should be paying them because they're marketing your product all the time. And the more people market it, the better it is for your product. So if you're greedy enough to be like, hey, you're showcasing our product to the world, pay us. Whoa, hold on, buddy. I'm advertising your product. It should be the other way around. Yeah.
They won't even play it. They won't even play the games. If they come along and say, you got to pay for this, they'll be like, well, I'm not playing it. I've got other games I can play that I don't have to pay.
Exactly. Yeah. And then if that was the case, that would kill the whole streaming industry, which would kill a lot of businesses.
Yeah.
In one hit, it would kill YouTube. It would kill Twitch. It would kill Facebook streaming. It would kill advertising for everybody. So This is a very slippery slope.
It is very slippery, and hearing it from somebody like the creative director of Google Stadia is ridiculous. Like this man must be intelligent. He's a creative director. Oh, then again, creative sort of, art school, whatever. But he got into a position that's actually significant. Like, it's not a joke position. He's not like the, I don't know, cultural director of like Happy Times. He's actually high enough to make decisions. And if you've got this kind of thinking behind, that's very dangerous, especially as a powerful company like Google. The only positive is Google Stadia is dying, so he might be out of a job soon. But nonetheless.
Yeah. When Joe says, even if the streamer says never buy this, it will generate sales. And he's right, because it makes people aware of the product and they're curious and they're like, hey, this actually look like it could be something for me. Even though if the person streaming it says, oh, it's actually not that good of a game.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But other aspects could attract you to it.
Yeah. And so I mentioned earlier that we're sponsored by Expressvpn. Well, I have been like targeted by a lot of companies to sell crap to the audience, and I feel as I'm the buffer between crappy stuff to the people. So like when I was working with Trend Micro, I chose their offer because I thought, okay, actually I've used this before, I know it works, and I got to test it out before I even said yes, which is the exact same thing with Expressvpn. I got to use it before. I've been using it for years, but I got to use it beforehand, and it's like, why not? Like, if I'm happy to promote it, then I should. And so when a streamer plays a game, I feel like they not only giving their endorsement, even if they say, hey, I hated it, the fact that they played it is a big endorsement for the developers. So, they're quite trustworthy. So I hate to see, there's two sides. So I hate to see 10K an hour to play a game and the game's actually crap, and I hate to see people having to pay to play a game to show how good it is. Because there's things like Among Us, which is a hit game now, but it wasn't 2 years ago.
Yeah, I never heard of it.
Exactly. Hi, Adam. Welcome.
Adam.
Jason says, how do I support you when I already got Expressvpn? Don't worry about it. I think you've done that by joining the what is it, membership thing?
All right, yes.
Keep the news coming, I called it. Yeah. So that's all good. I guess we're not trying to...
Great question, Adam. Anyone managed to get a 3080 yet? The answer is no.
No. So you're waiting for yours still?
I'm still waiting. But that will take us into the next story, actually.
Shall we talk about Nvidia?
Yeah, all right.
Are you guys good? Any thoughts? I mean...
about Google Stadia?
Yeah.
I think they need to tread lightly. And I think they have something unique on their hands that nobody else does.
They do.
They have a universal platform wherever, well, maybe not now, but in the future, wherever you are, you can travel to, you can access your games, you can play them, assuming that the internet connection is good. But it's like the hardware that you have that you don't need to take anywhere, which is, I think it's a fantastic concept that if they expand on it in an appropriate manner, could be successful.
Yeah. Look, there's a lot of other comments from people who don't really matter in regard. Everybody's got a hot take. The reason this guy's made it to the top because he is the creative director of Stadia.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Yeah. I think membership's on the channel, Ritish, if you're asking. Joe Blog says, I bet I will get a 6000 series GPU before Casper gets a 3080. You're on. I'm on. I'll take that.
Wow. Okay.
I'll take that bet.
You know what's interesting?
Yeah.
Is actually, I'm considering to jumping on a 6000 series as well, because for me, it's like, which one can I get first? For me, it's like the race against time.
That was my decision as to why I got a 3090. We're going to talk about that in a moment. Oh, have I got a story for you?
do. It's so blowy.
Yes. Lots of blowing.
Lots of blowing.
All right. Nvidia is cancelling the RTX 3080, 20 gigabytes, the RTX 3070, 16 gigabytes, and two cards. Two cards that may never exist. Yeah. Okay, so the two cards that existed. Yeah. So these were rumors.
Yes, to begin with. But it turns out that they were true rumors. In the sense that, yes, we now understand that they're being cancelled. But alongside with this piece of news is that there are rumors, which will probably come true, is that the manufacturing of the 3070 and the 3080s has been cut down quite significantly. The 3090s, not so much because they produced a small amount anyway of around 40,000 or so. Now, it gets you thinking, why would Nvidia be doing this? Why are they cutting that down? Why are they canceling this? Well, okay, first of all, big corporations like Nvidia and AMD, they have spies. They have insiders in their industry. We all know that they exist. So when the spies of Nvidia are obviously working for or working around AMD, they got the word that, hey, guys, we're going to get wrecked. Like, their product is actually really good. It's very competitive. And so will the pricing be. You know, they probably have an idea now of what the pricing is as well. Knowing this, they're changing their tact. Nvidia is changing their tact. So what they're going to be doing is potentially giving out a refresh of these cards, the 3070s and the 3080s. It would be the smart thing to do. And because the 3070 16GB and the 3080 20GB no longer have a place in the world when a 6800 comes out and it's a 16GB card and it's more powerful than a 3080, it just makes no sense to create a 20GB card. Especially if you're going to bring it out at $1,000.
Yep.
And your competition's still going to undercut you, potentially significantly. So they have to change their tact.
Nvidia was never going to do a refresh. The only thing that is causing them to do this has been a whole massive, it's a mess, right? Is in AMD. AMD has come out with something much more powerful at a lower price. Competition is good. That's another reminder. Yes. They have finally come out with something that, well, you know, it hasn't been substantiated. They've got some results. But like you said, these spies, they know better. And AMD is bringing out something very, very good.
Yes, and we have seen some benchmarks. You guys have probably too, that the performance of the 6800 is actually like more powerful than the 3080, apart from the ray tracing. The ray tracing, so the Nvidia has the edge. You know, they were first to ray tracing, and they've obviously had more time to specialize in that respective area.
Yeah.
Although we know that RDNA has the better, I don't want to say architecture. I want to say the finer architecture in relation to the nanometer technology.
Yes, that they're with TSMC, and Nvidia had to go Samsung, and they've got a really high bin rate with Samsung. And so what might happen here is that Nvidia might go back to TSMC, because the only reason they couldn't is because they had TSMC had no space for Nvidia to buy stuff. There wasn't enough. They're full. They're selling everything they're gone. All the wafers are gone.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. There's you know, with 7 nanometer technology, there's less wafer wastage as well.
Yeah.
And what strikes me as interesting and gets me thinking is that we now know that I think it's the 6900 is being clocked at 2.4 gigahertz.
Yeah.
That is ultra high.
That's very high.
Which gets us thinking, does that mean that the finer you go with your nanometer technology, the more gigahertz you can push out?
Yes, because it uses less power and and it generates less heat. So every time we go lower nanometer, that's exactly what happens. Like the 3090 clocks at 1.9 or something.
I think so. Yeah, 1.8 or 1.9.
Yeah. So anybody's wondering, I managed to get this. I don't know if you can see that. 3090 Zotac one.
Yes, and it's blowing in the background here. It's like a windstorm. It's cyclone. Like, it's very loud to us.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a story about the 3090 in a second, because I think there's some positives and negatives about it and whatnot. But what I'd like to add about the Nvidia cancelling this, I read a rumor and I heard a rumor. I suppose this is a rumor, so take it with a grain of salt.
Yes.
They will be moving to TSMC once there's more space for them, and that's why they're lowering the production rate of this. But they're still, don't worry if you ordered one, the 3080, there's still 800,000 of them, I think, or was it?
Oh, yeah, it's a large amount, like hundreds of thousands.
So there's still heaps, so I wouldn't worry about that, guys. It's still coming. And like Joe just says, we won't know how much cheaper AMD will be, but in 5 days is it now? We'll know. So that's going to be big. Are we doing a stream for that?
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Is it a night thing again?
It's going to be a crazy time, like a 1 a.m. or something again.
Is it on a school night?
On a Thursday, so it's going to be a school night,
So actually, the 3080 20GB version was going to be hopefully what competes with the 16GB version of the AMD one.
Yes.
But if the 3080 can't even compete with the performance of the 6800,
Yes.
then there's no point even releasing it. So I'm guessing this is
Yeah.
probably why. I wonder if there's going to be a TI refresh, or it's going to be a super version.
Yeah, they might go with the super naming convention
think
because
they
they
might.
did that last time,
Yeah.
and they thought, hey, that was a good way to differentiate the names.
And that's really disappointing. That's
I know. And you know what? I think we might see more of this going into the future now because the competition is so tight now. They're so neck and neck that in 2 years' time, Nvidia knows that AMD is really they're tightening the screws really hard. So they're like, okay, we gotta really jump a few steps ahead. And even when they do that, they'll probably just match them 5 to 10%.
yeah,
Give or take.
Yeah.
So now they're up against the wall, which is fantastic for us consumers.
It's really good.
So good.
Just Adam, with your question, will TSMC 3080s have more overclocking room than the Samsung? So overclocking isn't necessarily about just the chip itself. Yeah, it gets smaller. The smaller it gets, the less. The smaller it gets, less heat output there is when you put more voltages in it. The overclocking capabilities of a card actually depend on the voltages and the way the card is designed around the chip, and allowing, I suppose, very high voltage. I'm not really good at this. Don't quote me on this. But high voltage capacitors in there. There has to be more. There has to be more memory that can take these high voltages. It increases the cost of everything around it. Then it goes to the chip. Like it's not like getting a lower chip means more overclocking. It will just mean higher base clocks. But when you take like an overclocked, Asus ROG overclock or Tough series, whatever they do, they just they take the current design of the chiplets and they add more capacitors, they add more powerful, stronger voltage controls and stuff, and then they can over voltage to overclock at a stable rate. But in saying that, if it's a lower micro-nanometer chip, it just means that it's more power efficient. So it's less TDP for you. Mainly, that's the biggest draw. Joe Blog says...
pun intended, that's the biggest draw.
Joe Blog says, I think overclocking is dependent on so many things. It's a big... Yeah, and it actually even depends on like component placement. Like, if you have a component that needs to draw power from a... Okay, so... Hang on, I've got a card. Hang on.
All right.
Let me grab a card. It's education time.
Yeah, it's education time. 1080 Ti, baby.
This is a 1080 Ti that I just took the water block off. So the power plug is right here. And when you obviously power it, physically, the power has to travel from... I should probably show it on this side.
Oh, okay.
The power has to travel from the chip. The chip is here, by the way. So
I love the design. Such a beautiful
it's so
card.
good. Oh, no, the chip is here. So the power has to go through into the chip, and then all the RAM is around it, right? And there's all this other like power controls here. There's actually issues between the fact that the power draw, where the controllers are, might be away from a certain other chip that requires it. So what happens is they try to design these boards to be as compact as possible, and that's what you get with like a 3080 and 3090. They've compressed everything into a smaller board and then extended the cooler because the power draw is so high, it needs to arrive at certain areas quickly without losing voltage. Because if you're sending like 1.5 and by the time it arrives it's like 1.48, it actually makes a difference. It makes a difference and means that it's undervolted or underclocked or whatever it is. So there's issues with getting the power to the chips that are around it. So, for example, the PlayStation 5, as we saw the actual teardown, they had the chiplet design or where everything is really important because you need the power to flow equally, consistently, and at the same voltage to all the chips or all the chips that need it.
Yes.
So, I don't know where I was going with that, but basically the overclocking capabilities and the power draw is a huge conundrum of things. So it's not just a nanometer, lower nanometer or anything like that.
You know what it got me thinking about? Look at that design, right? We got a single blower fan design on the 1080. The 2080, we had the double fan design. And now the 3080 is a triple fan
No,
design.
it's two. No,
for the
Founders
AIBs,
Edition.
sorry. For the AIBs, right?
Yeah.
And then this AMD Big Navi is a triple fan on their Founders Edition versions as well. So the way that we're moving is like there's like more voltage, more gigahertz, and then more fans as well. So is it gonna get to a point where it's just the whole card's just gonna be surrounded by fans?
I think I think that in the future we're gonna get cards that are completely water cooled.
Oh yeah.
You're not gonna buy a fan like an overclocked fan model. I
think
it just
fans
seems
are
like
gonna be redundant.
Yeah, because overclocking requires a lot of heat dissipation, and fans are good at that. But at some point, the noise and the amount of vibration it creates actually becomes a problem.
Yeah, your computer's gonna be a helicopter. Come down, computer.
So I'm not sure if anybody can hear that. Maybe I should put the microphone near it. But that 3090 is really loud, and all we're doing is streaming.
Yes.
Joe Blog says AIO water coolers. Yes, I have purchased a AIO water cooler for this specific card, and it's
Zotac.
And it's due in like the 4th of November. Always out of stock. Nafi says, in 2 years, we'll also have Intel in the GPU market, regardless of their performance. More options is always better. Yeah, have you heard about the Intel cards?
I have, yeah. They're secretly in the lab working away on these cards. And I don't know, I think they might do a move with AMD where they'll come out and they'll be like well-priced, decent mid-range cards.
Yeah.
And that's where they'll probably stay for some time. And then eventually work their way out. And I think they need to really come back with their CPUs as well.
They need a big comeback.
They're getting left in the dust.
Yeah.
And then Nvidia is next on the list. So Nvidia's like, uh-oh.
It's going gangbusters. It's amazing. I'm so impressed. And I think the 3080 and 3090 is the last generation of Nvidia cards that I'll buy. The 7700K was the last generation Intel I bought, and now I'm moving on to AMD. It's just one of those moments when you go, I can finally switch because I know that this is now better. I still think the 3000 series is going to be good. Don't get me wrong. Big NAVI is going to come out, probably be cheaper and better than the 3080.
Yeah.
But at this point in time, I think the 3080 is the last good card from Nvidia, unless obviously the next generation somehow beats AMD. But
I think next generation's going to be stepped up big time.
I think the 30 or the 4000 series. I'm sorry. I think AMD is going to dominate for the next 1 to 2 years in both the CPU and GPU market. I think it's going to be very, very AMD centric, and the other two companies are going to be scrambling because they've never had such competition that's come out of nowhere. They've all been thinking AMD's been sitting on their hands and doing nothing.
Yeah, but they've been working hard.
Yeah, they've been working hard.
Is that on 8 nanometer technology?
Yes.
The 3080s? Oh, they are. So maybe they'll do a jump and be like, hey, 5 nanometer time.
Yeah. All right, I think we're going to do a quick ad spot. So thank you very much for joining us. Expressvpn is a VPN of choice for many people. It's actually really super popular, but it's the only one that works with Netflix overseas, so Japanese, French, and American, of course, and you get to watch everything overseas. But because sports is sort of making its way back, even with this human malware pandemic, nonetheless, you can watch, obviously, streams from all over the countries. Multiple streams are free in most countries, but here in Australia, we get to basically deal with problems like Murdoch Media. Anyway, I've got a link for you guys. Check it out. Support this channel if you want to get a good VPN that not only has your privacy at its first and foremost point, it also gets you to, lets you watch content from overseas and everything else. Unlocks a lot of things. And also buying video games, buying software from overseas at different prices, because obviously things are priced differently in each country. Australians get ripped off a lot, so it's really good to buy software overseas, obviously because it's instant delivery, you just pay and get it. Works really well. I've been using it for years, so I highly support it and highly recommend it. I've recommended it to a whole lot of people, and I'm finally able to recommend it to you guys, and it helps support this channel, Techman Pat, and obviously State of the Beanstalk. So I've just put a link in there. If you guys want to have a check it out, please do. Thanks for listening to the channel, ad, and we'll see you all back in the show. All right.
All right.
Let's move on to our next topic.
AMD big Navi stuff?
Well,
This is the performance numbers,
yeah,
right?
I talked about the performance in a
I think
bit.
we have. All right, so get ready for some good cards. I know I'm in line for a pre-order to get the 3080.
You can cancel anytime.
But I can cancel anytime. But if these cards come out, and there are consistent rumors that AMD will actually outsell Nvidia this year in the sales of their graphics card, mainly because they'll manufacture far more, they'll put out far more to the audience.
Yeah.
So if I can get my hands on one of these, I will cancel my 3080.
Wow.
I know I'm taking a bit of a risk because, drivers and whatnot were a disaster last AMD release. But,
Yes.
But heads will roll if they don't get this right.
I'd like to add to that.
Yeah.
Yes, AMD's drivers were a mess, but
Yeah.
Nvidia is not out of the woods. I want to talk about my 3090 story with the drivers.
Oh, okay, yeah, 3090. Let's hear it.
So I got the 3090 on Thursday. Thursday.
Thursday.
Was it Thursday? No, Friday.
Thursday.
No, Thursday, yeah.
Yeah.
I was up till 1:30 a.m. after getting home at 10, so it was multiple hours trying to sort out an issue with it actually working with my monitor. Now, the issue was Nvidia had to release a hotfix driver, and I found out about it that it's been due for 2 months.
Oh.
So it took 2 months for Nvidia to get their crap together and release a driver to fix the issue that a lot of people were facing with 3080s and 3090s with a specific high-end monitor that was running 240 hertz with G-Sync. So not only is it the product that they tout as like Nvidia G-Sync.
What? But they created a 360 hertz monitor themselves.
Yes, but it's
Partnered with Asus or something?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So with those, but that works fine on the 2000 series. It's a 3000 series that had the issue.
Oh.
So you couldn't boot up 240 hertz, 10-bit color, and G-Sync into anything because it's just black screen. So Samsung, the monitor that I had, the G9, released a firmware update that got it working, and then I had to get a hotfix from Nvidia to get it all working. So there's a lot of unhappy people in the community, on Reddit community.
Including Techman Pat.
Including Techman Pat. But I got it fixed in a couple of hours, and I put up a post saying how to fix it, which helped a few people, which is good. Because it was just such a mess. So what I'm saying is Nvidia has issues too. And they fix drivers, hotfix drivers a lot. Like I've used 2 times in the last 10 years that I've had hotfix drivers. On the other hand, AMD has a lot more issues.
Yeah, they do. I know that's the only concern about getting one of those graphics cards day one. And I'd be curious to know when the release dates are. I guess we'll find out on Thursday? Yeah, on Thursday.
Yep, Thursday.
There's not much time before the holiday season really wraps up, right? I mean, we're at the end of October. We got 2 months left after that.
And it's December. It's shopping time.
Shopping time.
But, I've read a whole bunch of stuff about the fact that, people are holding back things. Holding their wallet back a bit from spending. And then you hear all this stuff like, out of stock. Massive sales. iPhone 12, massive sales. Like, what's going on? Like, experts are like, oh, no, Australians are saving. They're not going to be spending. They're going to hold back this Christmas. It's like, bullcrap. People are spending money left, right, and center. I just don't see it. So I'm expecting NAVI to sell big. I'm expecting them to not only sell out of the stock for Australia, but actually maybe potentially be in a similar position as Nvidia, where they have pre-orders weeks out.
Absolutely.
Not pre-orders, but orders that are getting done weeks out. Any other thoughts on AMD?
Oh, I think well done to AMD with whatever you're putting out there. If the stats, in fact, are true, that it's going to be a powerful card, then this is going to be fantastic for us consumers. I'm excited to either get my hands on this or the 3080, and I really want to play Cyberpunk in the best shape possible. Yeah.
Everything I'm doing is for Cyberpunk.
That's the only thing. Yeah, my life revolves around that game. Oh man, imagine if it sucks.
So should graphics card CPU companies be paying royalties to Cyberpunk for making a game that makes everybody upgrade?
I think they are. Like in terms of advertising it or something like that.
Oh yeah, they do have
maybe it's the other way around. Who's paying who?
No, I think like I remember Nvidia seeing like the Nvidia logo when you like turn on a game. It's like Nvidia.
Right. Nvidia.
I think they do sponsor stuff and like help them develop and give them like tools and shit.
Oh, they must do. So it's probably gonna be better to have an Nvidia card for this game.
more
because
than likely
they're
for this game.
associating
Yeah.
themselves with
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
Like I remember Witcher 3 had Nvidia Hairworks.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
The Hairworks that tanked every GPU.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
But it was nice. It looked nice if you had a powerful GPU. And AMD has been popping up more often on video games.
Yeah.
Like best plays on AMD or whatever. Like the thing is Zen 3. Or Zen 2. No, Zen 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that, it happens. A lot of these backroom deals where, companies go out of the ways to try and like get... It's very similar to where consoles do exclusives.
Yes.
You know how they do
Yeah,
a game
yeah.
that's only exclusive to that console? It's very similar where Nvidia gets the logo. It's like best played on Nvidia.
By association. Yeah.
Yeah, by association. But they also tune the drivers to fit that game for those actual like cards, and that's why it plays better.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, next up we have console news.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Speaking of exclusivity, so PlayStation 5 custards are available, delicious, in different colors and flavors. So the custom covers are already supposedly available, and you can buy like a few different colors. I think there is black, red, and green, and gray of some sort.
I like the black. That looks sleek
the black,
as.
is that black? That looks gray on this angle. I don't know. It's the color.
Funkiness.
Yeah, I don't know. It
Yeah,
looks a
it's
bit
weird,
grey.
yeah.
Looks a bit
But
black.
yeah, I think black is going to be really popular to get your covers changed for that. $40 supposedly it costs.
Is that 40 American or 40 Australian?
I think it's going to be 40 American.
Okay.
Yeah, so you got cherry red, chromatic something.
Oh, here we go.
Chromatic. Yeah, there we go. You get
Ooh.
chrome limited edition V1 matte black. I think that's going to be a hot sale, that one.
I really like
maybe
the red.
cherry red. Yeah, the cherry red. I don't know about the jungle camo. That's just looks real tacky to me, but the indigo blue looks nice as well. Yeah, look at that. That looks cool.
That looks cool. I like that.
Yeah. And then get yourself a red controller that will go with that as well. But I think that's the extent of pretty much the PlayStation information that we've got, as well as the what do you want to call them? The big journalists? Yeah, the prominent journalists have their hands on the PlayStation 5 now.
Oh, really?
They have received them. They have taken pictures of the boxes, but that's as much as they can do for
Wow.
us right now. They can just show the box. They can't even really review anything. They can't open it. They can't do an unboxing until probably later down the line.
Yeah, right.
Maybe the actual day.
Navi says next generation should be another big jump. I'm hearing both Nvidia and AMD are moving towards chiplet technology like Zen 2 and Zen 3. This should hopefully increase yields and lower price. So chiplet design is basically the same container, but the chips themselves are closer together and was more of them, and they're easy to manufacture because all you're doing is manufacturing the amounts and then putting however many you need on the level of product you need. So lower level has less and higher level has more, and you just need more space. Joe Blog says not even the drivers, the game devs lay into different rendering modes, which different cards can do better. And that's a big thing for RTX. Like if you've got RTX designed by Nvidia, put into these games by developers for Nvidia, and all of a sudden AMD comes along and goes, oh, we should probably be doing that too. And then, it's not the best performance, sure, but that's because Nvidia did it like that.
Yeah.
And Nafi says, but also keep in mind that Arduino 2 will be in the next Xbox and PlayStation. A lot of game devs will optimize for the console, and in turn, Arduino 2 on the desktop should also perform well with next-gen games.
Yes.
I thought about that.
Yeah, because I mean, you've had the games being optimized for the previous AMD graphics cards, and yeah, I don't know, because by then there were already new models of GPUs for AMD, like in a couple of years' time, and the best optimization of games we are going to see in probably not the RDNA 2, but the RDNA 3. It's like that's when we'll see true next-gen games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem with that is that it'll only, like you said, it'll only work within that generation.
Yeah.
But to take a step back, it's not necessarily the fact that it's the same hardware. It's actually the software layer on top. So
software layer is a big component.
Yeah, Xbox and PlayStation, they have their own custom hardware layer, like software layer for the hardware to be controlled, and they've got a custom OS. So when games are being built for it, they're actually optimized on the software level because they've got the API that speaks to the hardware, and it's very much close to it's closest to the metal, as they say, as opposed to like a Windows machine where you have Windows, you've got driver, DirectX, you've got all this other stuff in between that it has to work with, and there's many more things to develop for. So the only benefit I could see is that, if AMD releases drivers that are very similar to the drivers that they have co-created with Xbox and PlayStation, which is interesting because they would have definitely had some say in it. So both companies, Xbox and Microsoft, are actually kind of using probably the same code. Not the same code, but very similar code, which is, very interesting in itself. But there may be some bits where it'll be quicker to move the game from an Xbox and PlayStation to the PC, but it might not necessarily mean the same performance. But also remember that PCs will be a bit more powerful anyway, so the performance gains might just be the fact that it's more powerful, like the PC. But Xbox, on the other hand, is creating the Xbox architecture is x86. It's literally like a PC, and so you're gonna get very similar performance. And they've got the whole, gaming subscription thing where, well, the games are gonna be pretty much working on all PC platforms anyway.
On all platforms, yeah. The whole optimization thing is very interesting, and I wonder how well it will converge in the next gen, because in the current gen there were quite a few discrepancies, especially notable with the Assassin's Creed. I think it was the Origins and the one that came after that. Can't remember what it was called. But there was a big performance issue where the PCs, even though they were a lot more powerful, they were struggling with that. But it played quite well on the consoles. So it just depending on how well the software is optimized, how well the team is dedicated to a particular console.
Yeah. And it's also about the money backing, how much return on investment
yes
they expect from that game. Like, because remember, PC isn't the biggest market for selling games. Like, it's actually quite small comparably to the console world, obviously. But when they release a game, the developers and mainly the publishers, they crap on about piracy being the main cause of the pricing and all that, which is absolute crap.
Yeah.
If they released games and gave people a chance to try it, you wouldn't have this issue. And there'd still be some people who pirate it, but it's a very small percentage because of services like Steam, GOG. It's easier to buy the game than it is to pirate these days. Well, sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
So a lot of it is how much effort they're going to put into the game and how much money they're going to expect to get from that platform. Like, Cyberpunk's releasing on PC. It's been developed PC first, so they're expecting a big return on PC because it's just the platform to have it on. But I think next generation consoles will make Cyberpunk more money than PCs. I expect that to happen because of the way Xbox and PlayStation 5 is powerful. Like, it is very powerful.
Yeah, plus you have the whole cross-gen platform now, so the games for Cyberpunk, they're going to sell on Xbox One, Xbox One S, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4 Pro, PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
So many consoles to sell it to, and then there's the PC. And I think maybe a lot of those sales are probably going to go to consoles.
Yeah. Joe Bloggs says, personally speaking, I would have changed the game to run better on a console if I was going to release it on console and PC. That's right. And it's also easier to do that because for a console, you're developing for one console. For PCs, you're developing for a wide range of different types of PCs. And when you're developing for the console, if you make a code change that improves the game, it'll improve it for everyone who has that console.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be like, oh, how's this going to affect the guys who have Intel, the guys who have AMD, who have Nvidia, who have onboard graphics.
Yeah. And it's an absolute pain in the butt for the developers because this is why they have those massive forums in regards to issues, technical support for the game. When they release it on PC, they just hope and pray and they're like, oh my god, there's so many combinations out there. And then the second they release it, there's like 10 billion people. Obviously, there's not even that many on the planet, but they're all writing into them saying, I got issues with this. I'm running my, 1984 computer. It's like, well, that's your issue, first of all. Yeah.
Oh, I've seen some funny comments on there. Like, I think my favorite, and this happens a lot, is people like, I have a, 2080 Ti, Core i9, max computer, I'm getting 30 frames. Like, what's going on? And then, like, one of the questions is like, where did you plug your monitor in? And they're like, oh, it's plugged into the HDMI. Where? Oh, in the middle of the box at the back. The motherboard. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, forum closed.
Yeah, forum closed. So there's a lot of people who think they have issues who just know that it's their mistake. But there's certainly problems with games. Like, Fallout 76 was a absolute disaster in regards to the bugs. The in-game bugs and the performance and what was happening with it. Like, it was terrible. I'm going to move the camera there. We're like super like down low. There we go. Hello.
Hi Ray as well.
Oh, Ray's back. Hello. We started a little bit earlier today because of the AFL Grand Final.
Yes,
all right.
Ball.
Next topic.
Unboxing of the DualSense controller. So Mr. Evans, what's his name? Austin Evans here. Hi guys, it's Austin. He got his hands on the DualSense, and he actually can do an unboxing for us, which is quite exciting. I think he does some flexing on the video where he gets a call from Logic. You know who Logic is?
Is he like a rapper?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And so he calls him, and he's like, check it out, Logic. I'm unboxing the controller. It looks like this. And the guy's like, thanks so much for showing me, man. Like, this is like midway when he's doing the filming.
Wow. Okay. So, I met Austin. Not Austin.
In Melbourne.
In Melbourne. No, Sydney.
No, Sydney, right, yeah.
Really nice guy. Took a few photos with him. That's about it. I just said, like your videos.
He does look like a nice guy, eh?
He's really nice.
Looks like a really friendly dude that's doing what he loves.
Yeah, he's super friendly. Like, it was an ASUS event, and we were just walking around, and he was just walking around. I just went up to him like, hi, Austin, and he's like, oh, hello. I'm like, I'm Pat, and I really like your videos, and just, had a bit of a chat with him. I said, what do you like about? We were looking at ASUS laptops, and he's like, I like this, Liz, and he was like, not even like, I don't know, he just felt so like normal and average. He wasn't like surrounded by people.
Celebrity status.
People talking to him. He's just having a chat, and then had a photo with him before COVID. So we could lock arms.
We could embrace each other.
And I was like, oh, thanks very much. And then I saw him on the floor. I'm like, hey, like it was. Obviously, I haven't met many celebrities, but I was just very surprised how sort of down to earth he is, and I'm,
I think it's because you were like a little bit starstruck. You would be like, oh, this guy, I've watched you so many times, but I've never met you. But it feels like we know each other.
It feels weird when you met someone who you've been watching, but they've never. It's always been like a one-way conversation.
Yes, absolutely. It feels that way. Like, I remember meeting like somebody that I've like, I've been watching, and and it's just the most epic sensation.
It's a weird sensation.
It's a weird sensation.
Yeah, I think
because you see them in real life. It's like, oh my god, 3D.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I think it went off quite like quickly because he was so normal. But if they acted all up themselves, I think it would have been like, oh yeah, because he's so much better. I was like, oh, but I think he was.
If there was like cool bodyguards and cameers around him.
Yeah. But again,
like smacking the photos.
YouTubers, there's a big difference between like a Tom Cruise and a YouTuber. But
well, that's the thing. Yeah, you're like a.
Oh, here we go.
C-grade celebrity. So he talks on about how the controller has a premium feel to it. There's like a very defined clickiness to the buttons. He really loves the triggers. He says, oh, this is really cool. And he tests it out with Android. So he says it's compatible. He works really well. Obviously, it doesn't have the functions of the haptic feedback, of any vibrations or any sensations that you would on the PlayStation. He tries it with the Xbox Series X. Unfortunately, it doesn't work, but it does charge it. He tries it with the PS4. I think with the PS4 it seems to work, especially with the mic. He can talk into it, and it works well. He says the tone of the controller, the actual color of it, it's not as white as it looks on the box. It actually has a grayish hue to it, so he's quite surprised. And this is he's taking a photo of some sort of a barcode scanner thing at the back. which then tells you the model of the controller.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and talks about, as you can see there, he refers to the edges, how like kind of sharp and defined the edges of that controller are.
Oh, right.
There's also, I think there is a grip thing at the back of the controller, which the designs look like they're the little triangle, circles, and cross. No, sorry, they refer to it as a cross, and squares at the back. So, yeah, premium design. They've really come a long way. The pad, the touchpad that you have on the controller is very similar to the one on the PS4. Obviously, it's a little bit bigger. The light, it emanates from the front as opposed to from the top.
Oh, okay.
But it's not as strong, not as prominent.
Oh, yeah. Well, you don't want that in your eyes the whole time when you're playing.
Yeah.
I always thought it was ridiculous. Like, the PlayStation 4 controllers have a light to tell you who the player is.
Yeah.
But it's facing away from you.
Yeah, or the light changes color depending on your health. So it goes from green, yellow, and then red. Yeah, depending. I think that's kind of cool. It's like, oh, I'm gonna die soon. My controller's
like, I'm gonna die, and then you're like, oh, I'm dead.
I'm dead.
Because I looked.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that's a very expensive charger if you're just gonna use an Xbox to charge your PlayStation 4 controller.
Yeah.
It's like
$750 charger.
Okay. Is that sort of it for that?
I think that pretty much sums it up.
He plugged it into a PC.
He plugs it in the PC. He finds out that it works. He thought it was really cool when he connects it with the phone and he can actually work the controller. Like he uses the controller C and he's like using the buttons and stuff. And he's like, oh my god, it's working.
Oh
so
wow!
It's like it's working and operating his phone.
Well, that's Android for you.
So it has Android compatibilities. So all in all, I think he's quite impressed with it. It's a nice iteration, nice evolution, nice movement forward with the controller. And I can't wait to get my hands on it. It's less than 3 weeks away, so stay tuned. Unboxing that game with Casper.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, to watching it. That'll probably be where I watch it.
Yeah.
Be like, why not? Like, it's unboxing.
It's live.
Ray says, thoughts on price USD on 6090 XT?
You know what?
Did that pop up recently? I'm pretty sure we didn't see that today.
No, I don't know. But you know what? I don't think it's going to be cheap. I think they're going to be looking at, if it's competitive, which, you know what? I've heard that it actually may be better in some aspects than the 3090. In some aspects. So I think they may actually be targeting at around that $1,500 price, which we're looking at a $3,000 price.
So it's going to be a 3090 price.
Yeah, it's going to be a 3090 price. So get ready to pay around 3,000 Australian dollars for this graphics card. Yeah.
Ray, if you can flick us a link to that, we can have a quick look and see what the pricing is, because I can't find anything.
NAVI, yeah, also a good point. He does open up the controller and he shows off the fact that there's a larger battery. I think, 1560 milliamps inside the...
Okay.
Yeah, so you get to have a look at the controller inside it too.
Oh, is that GamerMeld link that you posted me the other day?
Yeah, that's where I showed you basically showing off the specs.
Yeah.
The performance values.
The performance, but... I suppose the pricing... Okay, first of all, the pricing with the next AMD iteration has to be competitive, but by not much.
Yes.
Like, if their performance is better than the 3080, they're not going to price it lower than the 3080. There's no point.
Yes, they might actually meet them and say, hey, it's also $700.
Yeah.
And then everyone's going to go, well, I'll just buy this one.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh, okay, so or they might do like a $50 difference. Like, it might be very, very insignificant difference comparably to like, Nvidia. So I don't see it as a big, problem. But yeah, if the 6900 or
6900 XT, yeah.
Oh, 6900 XT.
That's the top end.
Top end. That's going to compete with the 3090. I love that they've got a 9 in it.
Yeah. Obviously they're doing that, purposefully, and then obviously 68, 3080. It's a thing.
Match the 8s up. So
match the numbers.
Yeah, fair enough. But look, the pricing is not going to be. It's going to be a little bit lower on the lower end, but at the high end they're going to keep the same pricing, I think, than Nvidia. Yeah. I expect some discounts, like $50, but it's going to be the similar thing with like PlayStation 5 when you've got the digital version and you've got the non-digital version. It's just $50 difference. Like, it's very insignificant.
Yeah.
So yeah. Whoa. Ray says 69 XT is suggested to be 3,900 Australia. I'm guessing that's Australian dollaroos.
Oh, is it?
Wow.
That's a lot of money, man. I don't know if they're gonna go that far. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't
No,
think
I
so.
don't- I don't
I think
think
it'll be the same price as a 3090.
$4,000 for a GPU.
Yeah.
Nah.
Actually, what is the most expensive GPU on
For
PLUs right now?
Oh,
Right
right.
now, what is the?
Oh well, it's not gonna be the gaming GPUs. It's gonna be the
okay,
the, like, computing GPUs.
separate from the.
Okay, yeah, it'll probably be 37 or 3800.
Let me share the screen.
Whoa.
So graphics cards, and let's go. Well, 10,000 is like the highest there.
Jeez.
Sort by price.
Price.
69.
69 bucks.
Nice.
Giggity.
Hey, have you
Nice.
watched the new Borat movie?
No.
Oh.
Is it out?
It's on Amazon. It's
What?
pretty funny.
I thought, oh wow, that's fantastic. Don't need to pay for it. Yeah,
$11,000. There's the Quadro RTX8000.
But look, there's an Asus 3090 ROG Strix.
Oh wow. Okay, it's 3400.
3400, obviously not in stock.
What's the cheapest 3090?
2599, I think. I'll
Oh,
check it in
really?
a minute. Yeah,
Oh,
I'll
okay.
have a look in a minute. But I wanted to see why is this one so much more expensive?
I don't know.
Whoa, 8.
8 and 8.
There's 4 8s.
Power required 850 watts.
There's 4 8.
3
Sorry, 3 8
pin connectors.
pin connectors.
Yeah, that's a lot of power.
Holy crap, that's a lot.
Hmm.
Holy crap.
Yeah, your bill's gonna be through the roof, man. That power bill.
Oh no, it's just how much. Yeah, you got to get a very powerful bloody power supply for it. Where's the? I wanted to see the actual specs, but obviously there's no specs here.
No.
No. Okay, what's the cheapest one? Let's have a look. So
Yeah.
3000 series.
Another
and-
interesting thing to note. Sorry, just backtracking a little bit regarding the RDNA 2 graphics cards is the fact that it's performing on a 256-bit bus. The gaming cache, or as whatever they refer it to, it's supposed to be quite intricate, well designed in the way that. Oh, hello, dog.
Hello, doggy.
Yeah, I love you too. In the way that the, what do you call it? It's not the streaming, but the movement of information via the.
The bit bus.
Yeah, it's actually gonna be quite efficient and well designed in that sense.
Oh right,
The
okay,
fact
yeah,
that, yeah, that the 256 is not a big issue.
Right, gotcha. Yeah, so this one's the 384 bit bus, I think it is.
Yeah, 384
yeah.
on the 3090.
Yeah. And you can only really utilize that on PCI 4 anyway. Because I think PCI 3 is limited to... Maybe it's not actually. PCIe 3 bit bus limit. Let's have a look. 100... No, hang on.
Oh, PCIe?
Yeah, PCIe, sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't
know.
It must be somewhere here. Well, it's 16x.
Sounds like some research we might have to do. Oh, there we go. PCIe 3.0 is what,
15.75 gigabits per second.
Yeah, 16x.
Yeah, there you go. At 16x.
I don't know how this compares to the actual card, but you can sort of compare it to like a 4 16 that's twice as fast. You know.
Because the 30 series is 19.5, right?
Yeah.
Gigabytes. Is it gigabytes or gigabits?
Bytes.
Bytes.
Bits. Gigabits. I don't know,
Gigabits.
gigabytes. Doesn't matter.
All right.
I hate the way they've designed that.
No, yeah.
So the cheapest 3090 is 2629 at PLE, and it's an EVGA card. It probably doesn't make much difference between many of these. Probably the cooler design and maybe some overclocking. I believe the one I got is clocked quite high at 1900 something, which is cool. But I mean, you know, if you're already buying that price, like that jump to 3,300 isn't that much. Like,
Isn't it? It's $800 almost.
is it?
Yeah.
770.
770.
Yeah, okay, $600. Yeah, maybe it is. All right.
Wow, that's massive.
But I suppose choosing in between, like if you're spending that much, you just, I don't know. I think you just get the one that's in stock, really.
1600 watt power supply needed.
Yeah. Well, I'm running a
Oh,
3090 with two 8 pins with 1,000 Yeah, 1,000 watt
yeah.
power supply.
1,000.
All right. On that note, I think it's time to end the show.
Yes.
Final thoughts?
Come back on Thursday where we're going to be watching
Thursday.
Yeah, this Thursday. Yeah. We're going
I'm
to be
excited.
watching the RDNA 2 cards being unveiled with their prices, with the release dates, with their performance power.
And expect us to be very groggy, very tired, but excited.
Yes. On the inside, probably. Yes.
Always on the inside. You
I'll
don't want
have my wallet
excitement
ready.
outside.
My wallet will be ready. I'll be ready to buy these things.
Stay tuned for that. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm sure most people who jump on here are, but you know, it's a classic thing to say. Thank you very much for watching. We'll catch you on Thursday and Saturday next. Ooh, hang on. Question on that next Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Might have to do an early stream. Thank
All
you very much for watching. Bye!
Bye!
I gotta press the big red button to say stop. Have a good weekend, everyone. Bye!
Take care. Oh, hello there.